Hey everybody, it's Emily from Mark Schooling, and today I'm bringing you a tag video. I'm going to do the mid-year book freakout tag. So it's the middle of the year, apparently. I don't know how that happened. So I thought it would be a great time to do this tag. I think I did it last year, and so I thought it'd be fun to do it again. So here we go. The first question is, what is the best book you've read so far in 2017? I think this is going to be a tie, because I couldn't decide which one I considered the best. They both are. And that's going to be The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood and Small Gods by Terry Pratchett. I loved them both. These are both 5-star reads. I'm going to reread them both again and again. They're amazing books and you should read them. Number 2, what is the best sequel you've read so far in 2017? That's what I had to think really hard, because I haven't read that many sequels. And the only one I've read that I've finished is Philippa Gregory's The King's Curse, and technically this isn't really a sequel since it's like either the 6th or the 7th book in the series, but I'm going to count it as a sequel. And the one I finished it, Blood for Blood's probably going to be the best sequel. But I haven't finished it yet, so I didn't feel like I should count it since I don't know how it ends. I think I'm going to like it, but I don't want to jump the gun too soon. So I'm going to go with the one I finished, and that's The King's Curse by Philippa Gregory. This is the story of Margaret Pole and what happened to her during the reign of Henry VIII. What is a new, number three, what is a new release you haven't read yet, but you want to? And I have a ton, but because I already own this one, I'm going to say Maud, because I know I'm going to read this, and it's a new release, and I know I want to read it. Number 4, what is your most anticipated release for the second half of the year? Philippa Gregory has a new book coming out, The Last Tutor, about Jane Grey, and I am obsessed with Jane Grey, so I'm super excited for that. I've read a lot of Jane Grey historical fiction. I got obsessed with it when I was about 14-ish. I saw the movie Lady Jane, and I was obsessed with that movie. It was like one of the best movies I've ever seen. And I was just like hyper fixated on Jane Grey, and I was so disappointed to find out how completely inaccurate that movie was. I don't care, I still love it. Helena Bonham Carter and a very young Carrie Elwes. Oh, how could you not love that? Also, Ryan Groudon has a new book coming out really soon called Invictus, I think, and it's got time travel, I think. I don't know. I love the Wolf by Wolf, Blood for Blood books. I have The Walled City, haven't read it yet, but I'm really excited about her new book, so that's definitely on my list of books I'm really anticipating coming out. Okay, number 5. What is your biggest disappointment so far this year? I haven't read too many bad books this year. I've read a couple that I DNF'd that I don't even remember what they were, but probably the one I finished that was the most disappointing was Ivory and Bone by Julie Ashbaugh. This book had such a cool premise. I was super excited for it. I just thought it sounded amazing. It's a prehistoric world, so it's prehistory, historical fiction. It's supposed to have been a Pride and Prejudice retelling. I don't know, it sounded amazing, but it just didn't work for me. I don't know. I don't want to say it's a bad book. It just didn't work for me. I thought that it felt too modern. It didn't feel like prehistoric people. It felt like modern people, maybe out on a hiking adventure. I don't know. It didn't work. The whole tribal aspect didn't work for me. The way they talked and behaved didn't make sense for this period of time. I've read other books that took place in prehistory where the people behaved in a very like prehistoric way. They didn't think like we think, and the relationship, it didn't work. I don't know. I was disappointed. Number 6 is, what was your biggest surprise so far? And I'm going to say the biggest surprise for me was The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. Not to say that I didn't expect it to be good, because I've heard enough good things that I expected this to be a well-written book. I just didn't expect to love it so much. I'm not usually a big fan of the time period. I don't read a lot of historical fiction that takes place in the Greek time period, the ancient Greece, ancient Rome, that kind of stuff. So I I didn't expect to love it. I thought I would just like it. I thought it would work for what I needed it to do. But oh my goodness, this book like burrowed into my heart. And I love it. It's really, really well written. I know I'm going to read it again. I love this book. I did. I love it. I love the relationship between Patroclus and Achilles. It felt very realistic. I loved how it felt like a realistic time period, but the gods and goddesses and all of that were still there, and it still felt like it was realistic. It's a great book. Another 5-star read. You should read that. Number 7 is, what is your favorite new to you author? And for me, I'm going to have to go with Margaret Atwood and Octavia E. Butler, because I had never read either of them until this year. And I definitely want to read more from both. I thought the books I read The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood, and I read Kindred with Octavia E. Butler. I loved both of those books, and I've never read any of their writing before, so I'm definitely anticipating reading more from both of them. Number 8, what is your newest fictional crush? I don't do book crushes. I just don't. But I'm going to go ahead and throw in a ship here, because I was totally shipping Cecily and Little John hard in this book. I didn't expect to do that. I don't usually go into a book looking for the romance, but they were just so freaking adorable. I loved it. So I am shipping that. I loved their relationship. I didn't see it coming, and I thought it was adorable. Number 9, who is your newest favorite character? Newest favorite character is going to have to be Brutha from Small Gods. I just adore him. I loved his whole arc. I thought it was awesome. And I kind of hope he comes up again in another book, because I do plan on reading like all the Discworld books at some point. Number 10, what is a book that made you cry? A book that made me cry is Between Shades of Grey by Ruta Sepetys. I cried quite a bit. I thought it was really sad. And, I mean, how can it not be? The whole story, the whole idea of what happened is sad, but Lena's story specifically really got to me, and it made me cry. What is a book that made you happy? I keep bringing it back. This is probably really my favorite book of the year so far, Small Gods. I had the biggest smile on my face the whole time I was reading this. It's just such a fun book. I loved it. I loved how he was so funny and witty while still being really thought-provoking. I thought it was great. I mean, Terry Pratchett. He's amazing. What is your favorite book to film adaptation so far this year? And I think I'm going to go with The White Princess. It just was on this spring on Stars, and I enjoyed it. It did not follow the book exactly, which, you know, it never does. But I really liked The White Queen last year, I think, and I was anticipating it this year being as good as that, and it was. I still thoroughly enjoyed it. I kind of hope they're going to do another one to follow The King's Curse, because I think it'd be cool to continue on with Maggie and her story into King Henry's reign. I think that would be amazing. So we're going to see. I don't know if they're going to do it or not. But also, I think it's a tie, because I really like The White Princess, but also American Gods was pretty darn cool. I gotta say, I was excited for American Gods. I didn't know how it was going to work out, and when they said it was going to be 3 seasons, I started getting nervous, because whenever you, like, The Hobbit, come on, when you split it that much, it's not going to work anymore. So I was a little bit nervous, but I really like how they did that. I really liked all the filler information they gave us about the different characters. Mad Sweeney, I liked him in the book. I freaking love Mad Sweeney in the show. He's amazing. I love it. And he's so quotable. I can't tell you how many times my husband and I have quoted Mad Sweeney. Like, you're an asshole, dead wife. I wish I could do the accent, but yeah, I've really enjoyed American Gods. And Ricky Whittle. He's not hard to look at, I gotta say. So yeah, that's White Princess, American Gods. It's pretty much a toss-up. Number 13, what is your favorite video that you filmed this year? I think, and this is without really going back and looking over my videos, I think I'm going to say my favorite is the grade 10 book list for Build Your Library, only because it was such a relief. I can't even tell you guys, I get emails like almost every day asking about grade 10. So it was really nice to be able to put that out there and just be like, have something to show people for a little bit. So that was kind of a nice like relief of like, I've finished this part of the process. I don't know. Yeah, I'm going to say grade 10 book list. Number 14, what is the most beautiful book you've bought or received? And I think I'm going to have to give that to The Tenant of Wildfell Hall by Anne Bronte. I bought this while I was at the Sea Conference at a really cute little bookstore, which I can't remember the name of. I want to say the Four Seasons Books, maybe, in Shepherdstown. And I've been wanting this Penguins Classic. I've been wanting a copy of this book in particular in this, because I saw somebody else on BookTube had it and it was beautiful. And I couldn't find a copy that I liked. So when I saw this, I got super excited. It's just so pretty. And I want to get more books in this edition because I'd love to have like a shelf full of them because they're just freaking beautiful. They're so pretty. And number 15 is, what books do you still need to read this year? Holy crap, a lot. I have so many books. I don't even know if I want to pull everything out to show you guys how many books, but I have a lot of books that I would really like to get to this year. I was aiming to grab 5 and I ended up with 7. So there you go. Here are the books that I would really like to get to read this year. I'm thinking of Ending Things by Ian Reid, The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers, Unholy, which is a sequel to Unwind, and this is by Neil Shusterman, the Joss Whedon biography by Amy Pascal, The Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. I really want to get to Bird Box because by Josh Malerman, and the last book that I really am anticipating reading this year because the movie's coming out in September, so I have to reread it. I've already read it, like, a bunch of times, but I really want to reread it before the movie, and that is it. And holy crap, this book is a beast. I knew it was big. I mean, my old copy was big, but it was smaller. It was like half the size of this, so it didn't feel as enormous. This is bigger than my head, and it's a lot. That's the mid-year book freak out tag. I'm trying not to freak out because, hey, reading is fun. I'm not freaking out about it. If I've already read almost my full reading challenge for the year because I put in 50 books on my Goodreads challenge and I'm at like 39, almost 40. So, hey, anything after 50 is gravy. So, and I mean, if I don't read them this year, I'll read them next year because, you know, I'm never going to be able to read all the books. You just can't. So, I'll read what I can read and be happy with that. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and I'll see you guys in the next one. Happy reading. Bye.